Welcome to my madness, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be comparing the 1/12 scale Death's Head versus the 1/18 scale Death's Head. I just picked this guy up here. Now, I had been wanting this figure for a really, really long time. As I've talked about in videos in the past, I have been, since I first saw him, a very, very huge Death's Head fan. Just never thought we would ever get a figure for him outside of this one right here. This was the only figure that we had for a really, really long time. However, I don't collect 4-inch scale 1/18 Marvel figures or superhero figures at all. All my 1/18 scale stuff is like G.I. Joe, Star Wars, stuff like that. When it comes to Marvel and DC, I prefer 6-inch scale. I never really picked him up because I didn't really collect the scale, and because this guy just was always so expensive. I mean, he really was. He was just not an affordable figure. He usually went for $40 to $50 and up. I get it, you know, because there's a lot of people like me out there that wanted a Death's Head figure, and this was the only one that existed. I just couldn't justify the price for something that's from a line that I don't collect. However, once this guy came out, the prices on this dude dropped dramatically. I hopped on eBay, and I just randomly found this guy new in package for $20 with free shipping. And at that price, I'm okay with not collecting a whole line and picking up just a one-off figure. And here we have it. So I really want to take a look at these two and see who did it better. Is it Marvel Legends, or is it the, you know, I mean, Jesus, what is this? 10-year-old figure by this point from the Marvel Infinite series line. Let's go ahead. We're going to crack this dude open. We're going to do a quick comparison. We're going to look at sculpt. We're going to look at articulation. We're going to look at paint and really just try and figure out who did a better job doing Death's Head. All right, so here we have them set up basically the same way, and I'll go over the accessories because there's one little difference as far as the accessories go. Otherwise, they basically come with the exact same thing, exact same sculpt, slightly different paint. I mean, there's honestly way fewer differences between these two figures than you would actually imagine. We'll take a quick look at the 6-inch scale version, which I absolutely love. It has become absolutely hands down one of my favorite Marvel Legends ever, from the texture on the cape to just the beautiful bold colors on this guy to just everything across the board. I mean, the sculpt, the paint, everything was done really, really well on this guy, and he just looks phenomenal. I mean, especially when you get him compared to other Marvel Legends figure, because he is bigger. He's over 7 inches tall. He's a big figure, and he just looks great. And he's got all his accessories there. He's got the mace hand, you know, he's got his shield there at the back with the axe and the rocket, and he's a phenomenal figure. Now we'll take a look at this little guy right here, and as I sit here and play around with him a little bit, he just looks awesome. Really, really well done. I mean, when you really take a look at the sculpt and paint work on this guy, and then take a look at you know, all his accessories. Obviously, I popped the hand off and put the mace on there. He does also come with the shield that hooks to his back with the axe. Now, that's one of the differences between these two. He just has the axe and the mace. He does not have the little rocket piece that could fit into the arm, but other than that, shield and everything attaches to the back the same as it does with the other one. We don't have the same texturing on this one that we have on the other one, but we do have nice texturing. It's not all ratted up and tattered down at the bottom, but really, really nicely well done cape for something of this size. And then one thing that I noticed as I was taking a look at this guy and comparing him, I'm gonna go ahead and take this this stuff off of his back here. As I was comparing him to this dude here, is his accessories are all painted. I mean, that is painted silver. Same thing with this one here. It's painted silver. And then even on the shield, it's painted gold. That's not just gold plastic, and you can tell because you can see the real plastic color there on the back sides of these two pegs. So they actually took the time to paint the accessories on this guy. And not only that, but like, this whole thing is painted. This is not just molded plastic. That is painted silver and blue and yellow and red, and everything on this guy is fully painted outside of his cape, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. I mean, as far as the sculpt between these two go, I mean, they're basically the same. I don't really see any differences, even down to, you know, how many just different sections we have on the shoulder blades there versus how many plated sections we have here on the leg armor, the spikes. I mean, like, even the number of spikes on this mace versus that mace is the same. So, like, they are almost 100% identical. The only difference that I notice is going to be on the gauntlets. On this one here, he has the more traditional look, which is just the armbands, and then just the spiked gloved hands that are silver. On this one, obviously, he has more of the gauntlet look. This is more comic accurate than that is. They did this because they were reusing some pieces. But other than that, they're basically exactly the same, from the boots to the gloves to the head sculpt, everything. The biggest difference between these two is going to be on the articulation. Obviously, with this guy right here, we've got full Marvel Legends articulation, so double jointed knees. We've got the ab crunch there. We've got the bicep swivels, heads on a ball joint, thigh swivels, standard, feet there with tilt, back and forth, hinge, all that kind of stuff. This guy being smaller is a little bit different, but not as different as you would think. So he doesn't have the same ab articulation there that this guy does here with the ab crunch, but he does have that joint there up at the top that gives him a lot of movement. They both actually just have single jointed elbows because this guy's so big back here that the single jointed elbows were what they use on this dude. Both have double jointed knees. This guy doesn't have waist swivel, but he doesn't really need it because of that joint there. And then of course the feet. This one we just have rotation and then a little bit of back and forth there on the feet. Not a whole lot. There is technically a hinge there, but it doesn't move around a lot. So I think overall the articulation is going to be much better on our 6-inch scale figure than on the 4-inch scale figure, but honestly, there's not as much difference as you would think. As far as sculpt goes, honestly, the sculpt on this little guy is considerably better, especially with, all the metallic slats on the arms and the legs, because this one was reuse of certain, stuff. I think this was partially from a Colossus figure for the arms and legs. It doesn't have quite the same look as this guy does right here. If I'm honest, guys, I mean, ultimately what it comes down to is, as far as sculpt, paint, and articulation go, this guy wins on articulation, but honestly, not by that much. This guy wins on sculpt and paint, hands down. I mean, it just looks way, way better. And even just sitting there like this, I mean, you can see how much better the paint looks on this little guy here than on this guy there. And as far as the sculpt goes, because of things like the arm bracers and gloves and things like that, he's technically more comic book accurate than this guy is right here. So if you're just gonna base it off of articulation, hands down, this is the winner. Based on everything else, this little dude right here from Marvel's Infinite series is honestly the better figure, and I'm very, very surprised at that. Again, I don't collect this line, but the fact that they even painted the accessories on this guy in gold and silver paint is very, very impressive, and something they didn't even do on the larger special edition deluxe $35 figure here. So that really is saying something. I don't know if it's just this figure because I don't collect this line, or if it's the line itself, but either way, this 4-inch scale Marvel Infinite Series figure, in my opinion, between these two, is the better figure. So there you go. Kind of surprised me because I love this thing right here, but there's just no denying this one, even though it is smaller scale, is clearly the better figure here. So that is it. Would love to hear what you guys think. Do you collect both of these lines? I know there's not obviously nearly as many 4-inch scale Marvel collectors as there are 6-inch scale Marvel collectors, but if you do collect the smaller stuff, let me know what you think. Let me know down in the comment section down below if you collect this line right here, whether it's the Marvel Universe or the Marvel Infinite or whatever. Are all their figures this well done, or was this just a special occasion for this figure? Let me know in the comment section down below. Would love to hear it. So that is it, guys. Thank you for watching, and always remember to enjoy your collection.